Hi everyone, I'm Cass Squarey and I'm a student in the social media marketing class at Stonehill College. Today I have guest star Ted Carbone joining us.
Guest star. Thank you so much.
So thanks so much, Ted, for coming and joining me today. Throughout the class this semester, I've been working on a blog that focuses on social media through the generations, and I have Ted joining us to answer a few questions and kind of give us some insight about how he thinks social media affects students in college. So the first question I have is, when did you start to see social media become really prominent in your life? I mean, for me personally, I remember that high school, toward the end of high school, it kind of was on the rise, and I saw more and more people using it as a social means to communicate with each other. But what is your experience with social media?
I remember Facebook starting to be a big thing in like 9th or 10th grade, and I didn't end up getting Facebook or Twitter for that matter until senior year of high school, so I was way behind. But I think at that point it was more of a social platform where people used it to connect with people, talk about parties, events that were going on. And now I feel like it's more of a, kind of like a YouTube almost, like video sharing and like memes, which are a big thing now. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's changed, at least for our generation. Maybe for an older generation, could be different.
Right. So what do you think is the way that people use it in college now? I mean, obviously we use it socially, we use it to share pictures. I know Instagram is huge. I still think that's the best social media platform. Personally, I love Instagram. And it's also being used professionally now. So how has social media played a role in your life professionally, would you say, especially in the job search?
I think there's a lot of information available on Facebook pages, on Twitter pages, whether that's job postings or information about the company that may be on the website of the company that you're looking at, but it's more prominent, it's easier to find, which helps, I guess, us for a job search or for information that we may need at some point.
Right. What have you seen to be the biggest disadvantages of social media?
It's permanent.
Yeah.
Even if you delete a tweet or if you get rid of that Instagram post or caption, it's still on other websites. I know Inc361.com saves every Instagram post you ever put on.
That's crazy.
I'm sure my Vines are out there too, even though that's gone. So don't look those up.
Yeah, I mean, my dad works in sales for a pharmaceutical company, and he says when they're hiring people, the first thing they do is look at their social media accounts. Are they public? Is there anything inappropriate they've been posting? Is there any alcohol on there? I know that a lot of recruiters use social media to really check up on their candidates for their jobs.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think colleges are using that too more for at least the undergrad applications. You know, who are these people coming to schools that you have a GPA for high school, but that's about it. So what information can you obtain from them?
Right, so what advice would you give to social media users in college to kind of stay safe and be aware that that is occurring and that could really be a huge detriment for their professional life?
Be smart, definitely. Don't post anything you don't want to have anyone else see. If you don't want your mom to see it, I would say don't have yourself posting it. I have my grandma following me on Instagram, so I get questions all the time. Who's that girl? What concert did you go to? So definitely be aware of what you're posting, and also if you're doing anything illegal, at least don't post it on an account with your name on it. If you have a fake account, I know fake Instagrams, Finstas are a thing.
Yeah.
Go private would be another suggestion.
True.
So
Very
that
true.
kind of stuff.
What's your favorite social media account that you have, and has it changed over the years? Have you kind of moved from Facebook to Instagram or from Twitter to Instagram? I'm just saying that because Instagram is my favorite. So I know that Twitter is on the decline right now, and I'm still a huge Twitter fan. I know I check it every day, whether it's for news. My friends don't really post on it anymore, so I'm really just getting sports updates, news updates. When the election was happening, I know I went on there for politics results. So how do you use it, and what were your favorite platforms?
I think Twitter has become, yes, it's a news source, but it's also a place where people complain a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which I can find humor in, but I still think Instagram is also my favorite. The only difference is I think I post less now. Maybe that's because I've gotten older, but I think it's more about setting an image, literally, for yourself instead of, posting food, which was big a couple of years ago, and posting I don't know, stupid cartoons or something like that.
That's awesome. So is your family on social media? I mean, you mentioned that your grandparents or your mother is on social media. My grandma just got Facebook last year, and I mean, everything that I post, she is always commenting on, whether it's a picture, whether it's a status. I mean, there was a picture of me and my friend George the other day, and she said, "Oh, what a great looking couple." She just doesn't understand that you're posting your pictures with your friends, and they might not necessarily be your significant other. So that was kind of concerning because I just feel like she sees something and she immediately says, oh, I should definitely comment on this. That's what everybody does. She just doesn't know the ins and outs of how to use Facebook. So another one of my blog posts this semester really focused on tips for users over 50 and how they can kind of slowly, not really force themselves into the social media world, but use it as a way to communicate. I know my parents communicate with people that they've graduated college with or graduated high school with so they can keep in touch with each other. So how has that kind of played out in your family, social media-wise?
My dad does not use social media. He has a Facebook, but does not use it at all. My mom, my aunt, even my grandma, they have Instagram, but that's about it. And it's just to post pictures of the grandkids or, the cousins went on a vacation or something. But they don't really use it in a bad way. I guess I'm lucky enough to have my grandma email me or text me instead of post on a picture what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
But they're not super into social media. My brother is, but he's a lot younger than us, so.
And how does he use social media?
Not very well.
Really?
I would leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, I know because another one of my focuses this semester was on high school students, and at my high school when I was graduating, they gave all the students a year underneath me an iPad. So now they have this iPad that they bring with them to every single class, and they can have whatever apps they want on it. So I was very surprised by that because of how much a distraction it could be, whether it's not even just social media, but games. I mean, there are people in college that I see still playing games. I thought that phase was over, but it's still happening. And I don't know how detrimental that could be in the classroom in high school. And I know that I used to have my phone on me in high school. I know some schools were more strict than others about being on social media during school, but I used to check it all the time. But I think that toward the end of high school was when it became a lot stronger for me, and I think Facebook was also huge at the end of high school too.
It was also big because those platforms like Facebook had games like linked together. Like remember Temple Runner, you could always post your score or words with friends. You could connect with people. So I guess that's a good way to merge two brands together. I'm not seeing that as much anymore. There's no more Candy Crush updates, or at least I blocked them all, which is fine with me.
You're right.
But it's better. It's getting better, at least in the game area.
Right.
Or at least I thought. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. And that brings me to my next point. What is the future of social media? I mean, we grew up, our first phone was not a smartphone. So I know my first phone was a Razor, and it didn't have any smart capabilities at all. So if I had a Facebook, it was because I was going on my laptop, and that's how I was first introduced to it. But I'd be very interested to see these kids. I know there are kids in elementary school
from 6, 7, 8-year-olds using iPads, playing different games. The fruit smash game where you swipe the fruit. I'm not sure what it's called exactly, but they're in a world where you're growing up with technology, whereas we kind of merged into it. I mean, I grew up coloring books. No one does that anymore. Right. Playing outside. Playing wiffle ball. Yeah.
It is a cause for concern, I think, and it'll be interesting to see where it takes us. But I don't know. I think social media is great for social settings, and I also looked at what the word social meant and a companionship with others. But a lot of people using social media use it in social settings. So
you go to a dining hall or you go out for a meal or to the mall and everyone's on their phones in the checkout line and not talking to the people next to them, whether they know them or not. I think this interpersonal communication amongst people has kind of declined over the last couple of years.
Which is very interesting because when you're with your friends, you want to post about how you're with your friends, you're doing all these fun things, but while you're doing those fun things, you're constantly checking up on people that may not even be your best friends or your
acquaintances, but we call them friends.
Right, and you want to constantly know what they're doing and what they're up to, and I don't see the value in that. Obviously, I'm guilty of it. Everyone is. There's kind of no way to avoid it at this point because social media has kind of taken over the world, and it'll be really interesting to see where that takes us and the future of social media in that way. But thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Happy to come in.
Great to have you here.
Thanks.
I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.